This is Mark Bell from Super Training Gym. Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. We're here in State Line, Nevada. It looks absolutely beautiful out here. We had a question about the carnivore diet and how to kind of transition into it. Well, you know, somebody who's mean would just say, hey, you fat bastard, just transition into it, just start eating meat. But I know for myself, the transitions over the years have taken a lot of time. World Carnivore Month is upon us. It is late December, and World Carnivore Month is January 1 to January 31st. So those of you that can commit to that and can be on that level of just basically eating meat and eggs and bone broth for a month, more power to you, and welcome to the party. But for those of you that are really considering this but are on the bubble and you're like, I'm not even sure how the hell to do it, I don't know how my stomach's going to be, I'm not sure. A slow transition would be to start with a paleo style diet. Rob Wolf wrote a book years and years ago called The Paleo Solution, and I highly recommend that. That's where I started. So basically you'd want to start with meat, vegetables, and fruit would be a great way to transition. If you're currently a person that drinks Coke or Pepsi, start to drink Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi or Coke Zero. Start to try to find some alternatives. You can even buy a book off of Amazon called Eat This, Not That, which is a book that teaches you about, maybe you're going to steer yourself if you were to eat using like DoorDash or something like that, and you ordered something from, let's say like Applebee's or something. It's going to steer you towards healthier options that have higher protein. It's going to steer you towards lower calorie items. On a side note, I actually bought that book for my daughter years ago when she asked some nutrition questions, because I didn't want her to feel like this influence or nutrition was only coming from me. So I didn't want to say, hey, here's how you eat, and I didn't want her to have a weird relationship with food. So we went over Eat This, Not That, which has very, very reasonable suggestions, and that's why it worked well for her, and it can work really great for a lot of you. The main thing with any nutritional intervention that you ever choose, and it doesn't matter what style of diet that you pick, most people try to eat less and they try to move more. And it's the number one mistake that you can make while dieting, because you're jumping in, you're doing too many things at one time. To make a commitment to move more is great, or to make a commitment to cut back on your food is great. But to do both simultaneously and think that you're a master of either one of these things, that's basically what you're doing. You're walking into the jiu-jitsu dojo, and you're pointing at the one black belt that's in there, and you're saying, hey, let's roll. Which is something that you don't do at a Brazilian jiu-jitsu or at a jiu-jitsu dojo. That's something that you don't do. It's very disrespectful, and you're going to get your ass handed to you. And the same thing is going to happen to your diet. You're going to get chewed up and spit out, and every time you get spit out, you'll be a little bit fatter for it, because it's just so hard to maintain that. You will most likely have a rebound that's catastrophic, that ends up putting you going in the opposite direction. So a way to transition with this carnivore diet is to get used to the food. I want you to eat a lot of eggs. Eat a lot of cheese. I know that cheese and dairy is always kind of like questionable on this diet. Have some heavy cream. Have things that have an abundance of calories. Eat some ribeye. Throw some butter on there. Be a little over the top, and do that for a week or two. It's not going to kill you to do it for a week or two. Eat some strawberries and blueberries and some of these things. They're not part of the carnivore diet, right? But we're doing these things to get ourselves used to what you're about to do next. And that's always important, is that we make incremental progress. If I haven't learned anything from the years and years and years that I've spent in the gym, one thing that I did pick up is that it's all about incremental progress. You can pass up anybody. You could pass up the most talented lifter that you've ever seen if you apply incremental progress and you take your time with it, and you don't care how long it takes for you to get better at something. Those of you that are listening that are 300 pounds, those of you that are listening that are just extremely overweight, what if you said to yourself, hey, you know what? This is probably going to take 10 or 12 years for me to drop this weight, but 10 or 12 years from now, I'll be a totally different person. And 5 years from now, that means that you'd probably be 50 pounds less. That sounds pretty good. A year or two down the road, you'll be 20, 30 pounds less. I mean, that sounds pretty great to me. That's what I did. That's how long it's taken me. It's taken me a long time to get myself in position to where I'm like, okay, I know for a fact I will never gain back any of that weight. I might gain back, 5 or 10, give or take here or there, but I still have a lot of cravings. I still deal with them every single day. And this is a way that me sharing this information with you guys is a way for me to give back, because I know the pain of it. I know how difficult it can be to try to overcome some of these hurdles. And I know what it's like to be addicted to food. And I know that you're addicted to food, but you don't have to be. You don't have to be the same person you were yesterday. Whatever narrative that you made up in your head about yourself, about how you're fat and other people don't like you and you can't feel loved, or you can't be as popular as somebody else or as successful as somebody else because you're too fat, or you're too short, or you're too this, or you're too that. None of those things have to be true. I used to think I was dumb. I don't think that anymore. I'm over it. I changed. I feel better. I feel good. I feel great about nearly everything that's going on in my life. And I think that you guys can get to the same point too, but it doesn't happen without incremental progress. So as you make this transition into the carnivore diet, don't get yourself all bent out of shape if you went on a bender and ate some ice cream and had some pizza and stuff, and you thought that was a great way to enjoy yourself or reward yourself. One thing that Mark Sisson shares that I really like a lot. Mark Sisson was the creator of Primal Kitchen. He sold Primal Kitchen to Kraft. Primal Kitchen is a health-based kind of like condiment company, dressings and things like that. So this guy really knows his way around not only the kitchen, but knows his way around nutrition. And Mark Sisson, when he made this statement, I think he had a lot of us in mind, because he knows kind of the mindset that all of us get. But basically he wanted you to do exactly what I'm recommending here. He wanted you to get used to these foods. He wanted you to eat a lot of them. If you're going to have olive oil, have at it. If you're going to have butter, have at it. Go for it. Have a nice influence of calories, because those calories will actually give you energy and you'll actually feel good. Once you get used to the food, now we can start to think about some sort of reduction in the food, or we can think about a smooth transition into getting rid of some of the fruit, getting rid of some of the vegetables. So now you're smack dab on a rigorous carnivore diet. Hopefully you guys found this to be helpful. In the comments below, let me know what your greatest fear is about trying this carnivore diet, because I know many of you want to do it. You're kind of on the bubble. You're like, I'm not so sure. Join in with us. Maybe give yourself a 2-week grace period to adjust and to be able to get into it with some of those foods that I mentioned. Utilize whole foods. Any meats are fair game. Eggs, fruits, vegetables, some dairy. And that's your list right there. That's your new shopping list. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you all later.